Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Sorry, I've got a really loud, let me throw a blanket on that. Hold on just a second. Just still figuring out the new environment here. Uh, this is my new studio. Not quite as warm as the fireplace with all the books from before, but I'm still working on it. I think I'm gonna get maybe I'll get a plant or something like that. Um, yeah. So, anyways, it's a small little studio, but it's mine. I don't have to move things around, and so that's really exciting. And so there's a my light here has a ballast with fans in it, and so I had to throw some blankets on top of that because it's very loud. Hopefully, it won't overheat. It's nice to be back here. I have not touched my cello in over 2.5 weeks, and so yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's really nice to be back, and it's nice to be here with all of you folks again for another rousing session of morning cello. I'm not even sure which number this is. It's 60 something, but I kind of lost track. It was quite a move. We were just before. It was like we moved on Thursday, and we had rented a 20-foot truck that I was going to drive up to Portland. But then the day before, they gave us like 24 hours. They're like, we don't have a 20-foot truck. We have a 15-foot truck. So I was like, oh my God, like I don't know if all of our stuff can fit in a 15-foot truck. And so I had to like go through every single box and take out stuff and stuff it into corners to make less boxes. And we ended up leaving some stuff in the closet of our home. But the good news is our good friends, Justino and Malena, are moving into our house. Justino actually married Rosario and I, so he won't mind if the closet is full with a few things, and I'm going to fly back and grab my car and drive up a little bit later. And so hopefully, yeah, anyways. So it was a wild ride. And then so on Thursday morning, I got up at 5 a.m. and took a Uber down to Hayward to grab the truck and then drive back. And then I packed for 4 hours with these other two moving guys. And we finally got on the road at like 1 or 2. And then we drove until we couldn't drive anymore until like 8 or 9. And Yo-Yo was falling apart. And then we got a hotel. And then we made it the next day. But it was a 5 a.m. until 9 p.m. Drive. It was pretty wild. And then we stayed with some friends here in the northwest part of Portland. Our friend Claudia and Otto's place. Claudia is an amazing musician, and her partner accompanies her. Otto is also an amazing musician, and they played at our wedding as well. But Claudia is in Peru right now, but Otto welcomed us with open arms, and it was really nice to be there with friends in a really nice spot in Portland. And now we're here down in the southeast part of Portland, in a really beautiful neighborhood by Mount Tabor, which we've been making weekly hikes to with the family, with me and Yo-Yo and Luigi. And so, yeah, it's been a really nice move. We lived in kind of a rough part of Oakland. We lived next to an apartment complex where we heard and witnessed a lot of poverty and violence. And so there's literally none of that here where we are in Portland. At least where we are, that kind of thing exists in every city. We just had it coming into our bedroom most hours of the day. And so we didn't realize quite how stiff and tense we were until we got to Portland and we could really release. And so that feels nice. And so I'm just going to go ahead and play. I have no idea what sounds are going to come out. The coolest thing is that my cello, so I have a love-hate relationship with this instrument. I've had several nervous breakdowns being like, she just won't play for me. But also this cello really likes cold, damp weather, which is odd. And so, I got out of its case. All the strings had slipped. It was like just little spaghetti noodles on the cello. So I'm like, oh god, I have no idea how this is going to sound when I get it tuned up. And it sounds beautiful. It's really, really playable right now, which is unusual. So that's a good thing to come to. And also, strangely, this room has really low ceilings. It's not much taller than my head, and this hard tile floor. But I threw a area rug down, and the sound is really nice. So, looking forward to that as well. Okay, I'll stop chatting so much. Also, there's a guy, Matthew T. Ale, who's been asking many of you for friend requests. I went ahead and blocked him, but I couldn't ban him from the page because he had not followed or liked the page. And so hopefully that'll keep him off the page, but please don't accept any friend requests from a guy named Matthew T. Ale. It looks like some sort of spammy guy or, a bad dude. So it makes me really angry when people are spamming my morning cello audience. So anyways, all right. Talk to you soon. There it is. We're back. We're back in action. All of us. A lot's been happening. A lot has been happening in the world. So not only did my wife and I move our whole family and belongings and things all the way up to Portland into not only a different place, but a very different climate too. It's I still don't think it's rained yet, for a very long time in California. So the way California works is it rains from December to February, and then it doesn't rain until the next season. And we get to Portland, which I hear actually is sort of trending that way, maybe in the same way that California, maybe 25 years ago was more like Portland is now. Portland maybe in the next 25 years will be more like the Bay Area is now. It's very, very dry and less rain. But for us, this seems like a lot of rain, and but it's beautiful. You don't get the fall colors that you see elsewhere. You don't get that in the Bay Area. You get some changing of the leaves, but we got here and there are just these fire red trees and really bright yellow, amazing leaves everywhere. And just I'm from northern Indiana, where it depends if it's been a rainy fall in a rainy summer and the trees have enough water, they'll have a really beautiful changing of the leaves. My parents live out in the country, and there's all these old hardwoods, a lot of maple trees that sort of make this canopy over the road. And so when you drive through in the fall, on like one of those days where it's like 65 and kind of breezy, you get just this golden canopy, this tunnel you're driving through as the leaves are falling down, and it's gorgeous. But I haven't really experienced that in California. And then we came to Portland, and we get to see some really amazing colors here. And so my wife and I were really excited about that. Yo-Yo is very happy, my son, and Luigi's very happy. Luigi was spending most or all of his time underneath our bed. Like, he would come down and look at us and be like, "Do you want to go for a walk or eat?" And he would just run back upstairs and go under the bed for another 7 hours. And so we haven't set up the bed. We just put the mattress on the floor, and we haven't set it up so far. We might, but he doesn't have anywhere to hide, and so he's forced to come and hang out with the family. And I think he's happier for it. And also, there's no yard, so when it's 39 and raining, it's 5:30 a.m. I have to go outside and walk Luigi, which is kind of a bummer. Not a huge fan of that part of the move, but it's nice to be here in this neighborhood. But anyways, he gets to go on a lot more walks, and he's very happy about that. Somebody I saw, I think it was Aaron from northern Indiana, just said it's a beautiful day in Indiana. Indiana has a very bipolar type weather where you literally never know. It's like it'll be December, almost Christmas time, and you'll have like a day where it's 10 degrees Fahrenheit and a foot of snow, and then the next day it's like 65 and all the snow is melting, and then there's fog everywhere. And then the next day it's 40, and then the next day it's 75. It's very tough to plan for Northwest Indiana weather, mainly because of Lake Michigan is right there, and so there's some pretty insane storms come off of there. 2011, we got just destroyed. It shut down Lakeshore Drive in Chicago. I think we got like 3 or 4 feet of snow, but also like really, really gusty winds. I was bartending that night, but I did not get along with at the time, I did not get along with the owner of this establishment I was working at, and the news was like, "There's an apocalyptic polar vortex coming. Everybody get inside and hide." And every restaurant and bar in the area closed except for mine. And so I was bartending until like 11:30 while the weather got worse. And I had this giant conversion van that I drove at the time. And so I just took a shot of whiskey and hopped in the car where there's nobody on the road, and drove through. But at on the country roads, the wind had blown these giant snow drifts across the road. So I would just gun it and go through these like 3-foot drifts where the snow would fly over my car, where I wouldn't have any visibility for a little while. And I was just like, I have to get home. And there were a couple times where I remember I was going to ditch the van and just walk through the cornfields home. But I made it, and I'm stronger for it. But I remember my hands hurt from gripping the wheel so hard. Anyways, I digress. I'm going to play some more cello for you. I just want to thank you all again for being here. It's funny, in the last 2.5 weeks, without the cello, without performing for all of you and having this thing that has become a major part of my life, especially since the pandemic. I was like, what is my purpose? I was starting to get a little bit of depression, where I just like didn't know what am I here for? And I realized, because a large part of the reason I'm here is to to play the cello, and so it's just nice to be reconnecting with that again. And I'm taking a look at Linda Farmer's post here. I'll take a look at that. Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start playing for you and stop chatting. It's just so nice to be here again with all you folks. So thank you again for being here. We got a big crowd, and I look forward to playing. Okay. If you haven't already, please pre-order the new album. The last day to do that is on November 19th, and I'm still hoping to get some T-shirts and mugs out. Hopefully next week I'll figure that out. It'll kind of be like the last day of the campaign. Hopefully we'll get those T-shirts and mugs on there so that you can order them. The mugs will have that logo that you see on the screen, Morning Cello, so you can drink your coffee and tea while watching Morning Cello in your Morning Cello T-shirt. So that's going to be pretty cool. Alrighty, I'm going to play. Thank you. Well, hello. It feels really nice to be playing for all of you today. And I'm kind of watching the comments here. It's just nice seeing people going back and forth talking about the world and talking about each other and sharing parts of their life. And so that's kind of what it all comes down to. And what I was saying before was there's a lot happening. You know, my wife and child and I, we moved up to Portland to this new place, but also there was the other thing that was going on, which was the presidential elections. And I think the majority of the people who listen to Morning Cello are quote unquote progressive, but I know from some posts from folks who I really love having here that they perhaps lean more towards the Republican side of things. So all that matters is that you're here and that we're all friends with each other despite maybe some differences. And, you know, it's okay to have differences. What's not okay is to defend your right to hate and hurt people. That is not a right that should be defended by any constitution, to hurt people, or to defend your constitutional right to hate entire groups of people. That is not okay, and that's also not welcome in Morning Cello. And so I welcome differences, and it's amazing to have so many different types of people in here. But whether you voted for Joe Biden or I can't even say his name, all that matters is that we support each other here in Morning Cello, and that we love each other. That's really kind of the thing that matters the most and will make the most difference in society, is having empathy for other groups of people. It's easy to get, especially for folks in power who are able to make massive amounts of money by not having empathy. You have no empathy by jacking up prices of medicines, by making public services belonging to private businesses. The only thing that a private company or a corporation, specifically a corporation, which I guess would be a public company, the only thing that matters to them is that the next quarter revenue is larger than the quarter before that. That's it. And so I think I would love to see a move back towards government control of healthcare, among a number of things. The prison system, the more prisoners you have in a jail, the more money you make. The cheaper food you feed people, stuff you wouldn't feed your dog, the more money you make. And so there's a real need for empathy to come back. And I also understand some of the, there's some one party deciding, sort of one like single voter issues. Right, people vote for religious freedoms, or to protect or not protect a woman's body. And it gets kind of difficult when you get into these black or white and there's no gray in between. And the gray is kind of where the good stuff happens, where the conversations happen, where we can find common ground. And so I would love to see more of that happening. And I do see more possibilities of that happening under a Biden administration versus a Trump administration. Am I happy to see a super old white dude again be president? No. But it's really amazing to see Kamala Harris as vice president and what that represents in terms of change for the country. And so I think that's really amazing, and I'm really excited to. I can't wait to have Ocasio-Cortez in the White House at some point, either as president or vice president, or two women in the White House. I know that my life is better when my wife is mostly in charge. So. I would not mind having two women in charge of the country. In my experience, women typically have a more level head and make some cooler decisions. And a lot of times, especially in my short time working in the corporate world, I really admired the women leadership that I found myself under. Oftentimes, ego wasn't even in part of it. And so, I think ego has a lot to do with it. These sort of black and white issues. I won't get into any specifics. I have very specific ideas about lots of these things, but that's not necessarily what Morning Cello is for. But I think it's each and every one of our responsibility to make sure that this country becomes the country that makes sense for everybody, not just single groups of people. The United States was built on immigration. My wife is a green card holder. We were very worried when the Trump administration took office. We didn't know if they were going to make some insane, declaration that if you have a green card, you're out of here. And a lot of our friends are couples that one of them is an American and the other is either a green card holder or working on it or already a U.S. citizen. And so, anyways, those are my thoughts. I just want to say, whoever you voted for, you're welcome here in Morning Cello. The only rule is that you have to love each other. That's it. So I'm going to keep playing for you. I don't even know what time it is. I have my thing on full screen here. Oh, we're getting towards the end. Wow, that went by fast. I thought we still had like 45 minutes left. I've just been having such a good time. Rebecca Doreen says, thanks for plugging women leadership. Well, I mean, the first great woman leader I had professionally, her name was, oh my God, Erica Labovitz at Indiegogo, and she really tamed me. I was kind of a wild, I would write angry emails to the entire company. She was like, first, Josh, the first lesson is you can't write angry emails to the entire company. And then she really taught me how to work in a team. And so that was one of my real mentors. And also my mom, who's an entrepreneur and always has been. And so she's an amazing woman. And I'm a little bit like her in that I am better off kind of working for myself. And so I've been happier and healthier since I took that. Since I took that leap as well. Anyways, I don't want to lose too many of you because I'm chatting, but those are just some of my thoughts. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. I'll probably play one or two more little tunes for you. Oh, I got some angry faces. I'm sure it has to do with politics. You can't please everybody. Actually, I was listening to a Marilyn Manson interview. Who actually I'm very interested. You wouldn't think the cello player who talks about mindfulness is into Marilyn Manson. Really an extremely intelligent individual. His songwriting is very powerful. And he's also, aside from being, this very strange figure, he's really intelligent when he speaks in interviews. But he was saying, if everybody likes what you have to do, then, it's not that interesting. So if you don't piss off a few people, you're not doing a good job. And with that, before I lose all of you, I'm going to start playing the cello. I think that'll be my next next time I'm gonna cover a Marilyn Manson tune. I'm kidding. Well, that's it. Thank you so much. It's really just amazing to be back. It warms my heart to be with all you folks, and just to have everybody back together again. I was wondering if it would kill the momentum of Morning Cello by taking 2 weeks off. So I was really happy to see just about the same numbers of people coming and attending here, and just yeah, we've been through a lot together, and it sounds like we're gonna go through some more as the news gets here a little more dire. The viral intensity is growing, and it looks like it's, we're still not out of the weeds politically in terms of the country being very divided. So let's all just stay together and think of each other and be here for each other, because that's what Morning Cello is about, and that's what yeah, that's it. I always feel like I have something else to say, but sometimes what you have said is enough. And so please join me this coming Thursday for the next episode of Morning Cello, and I promise I'm going to start trying to add more instruments. So I have my own room here. I've got a keyboard over here with this really cool. I'll have to play it for you next time. It's a really cool setting. It's this like old Roland Juno. Sounds like a 1970s sci-fi stuff. So I want to add some of that. Get my guitars all hooked up and then back the camera up and do like a wider angle so I can have them all set up here and play it. So I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of that. And I'm really looking forward to getting started on the album. Moving here to Portland was kind of the first part of that. Not sure if I'll do it here or, my wife and I are also looking to buy a place here. So I'm not sure if I'll wait to get the studio going until that happens. Either way, the album will be out around next summer. And so really looking forward to that as well. If you get a chance, a buddy of mine also lives in Portland, Todd Boston. If you get a chance to check out his streams, he's a great musician, great looper, great guitar player. And I met him right at the very beginning of the pandemic because we were both streaming, and people were noticing and people were showing up to our streams. So we shared a lot of information with each other. And he's got a almost 3-year-old. He's like pretty much exactly a year older than Yo-Yo, and they finally got to hang out in Portland at this big sand volleyball court. So it was like the biggest sandbox in the world, and they got to play trucks. And so that was really nice. And I imagine at some point we'll do maybe like a joint concert to sort of marry our audiences together. So anyways, check out his music, and yeah. What else? Oh yeah, I think my friends Planet Booty are still streaming. The streams maybe aren't quite as family friendly, but if you like to dance and shake and celebrate weirdness, check out Planet Booty streams. They do one every 3 weeks on Friday, yeah, that's it. Again, if you haven't gotten the album already, there's only so much time left to do that, about 9 or 10 more days. And so the link should be there in the comment section and also here right on the screen. So go ahead and pick up a copy of your album, and stay tuned for everything else. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see you on Thursday. Take care. Bye.